Art comes in many forms, from music, television, and film to classic and modern painting. Today we're in for a treat, as a local artist will be creating a work of art for us on the show live. Welcome to Celebrate Michigan, the show produced for you on the campus of Madonna University. I'm Chris Benson, and joining me today is artist Deb Fernandez, whose specialty is live event paintings. She's done weddings, birthdays, and parties. Deb, welcome to the show. It's a thrill to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
So, live painting at an event. How did you get started doing this?
Well, my husband actually came home and he had met another guy whose wife was doing live event wedding paintings, and she was actually flying out to different states to do it. And I was intrigued because I've painted a lot in my life, and so I checked into it and I thought, I love weddings, I love music, I love dancing. That's something I could do, and I love painting. So put it all together,
and there you are.
Yeah.
So what if I were to see you doing a live painting at a wedding? What would I see? Like, tell me what that's like.
This is what you would see.
Right. This. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what
Yes.
would you like? Where do you set up? What do you paint?
Kind of move over to a discreet corner.
Okay.
You know, and then beforehand I'll walk around and get the best composition, kind of put different things together. As the painter, you can put the cake table somewhere else in the painting. You could add a chandelier that's maybe not in your shot, things like that. And then check with the bride and the groom or the couple. Check with them beforehand and find out what composition they want. Do they want the first kiss, first dance, the announcement? Yeah.
So if I wanted you to paint me in Fiji, you know, could you do that? Like,
I could
I'm not
put you
really...
on a beach with sand in your toes.
Wow,
yes,
really?
I could do that.
So have you always been an artist?
I remember ever since I was young enough to hold a pencil that I drew. And then as I got older, I would carry a sketchbook around with me wherever I went. So, you know, if I was on a bus and you were on there with me, I could possibly be drawing you.
Oh.
And I did that almost my whole life until I was 18. Yeah. And then went to college and then took some time away from painting and drawing and then came back to it later in life. Yeah.
Okay. And what is it about painting? I mean, you could do anything, right? What is it about this medium or this form that really just speaks to you?
I'm in love with it. And I think when you know your jam, you know your jam. Mm-hmm. So it's just something that speaks to me. It's something that I'm very comfortable with. I love doing it. I've had so many people tell me at these live events, they're like, you look like you're enjoying yourself, like you're having so much fun. And because I'll have a smile on my face without even realizing it. And I am.
Tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing right now. So how do you start? Like, where do you begin? Where do you go to, and how long does it take?
Well, at a wedding, the painting would take about 5 to 7 hours, depending on what time you got there. Get there before the event sets up, you set your own stuff up, and then, like I said, you walk around, get your composition, whether you're painting outside or painting inside, and what you want to add to it, fun little things. You can add a pet of the couples too, and just various other things, you know, grandma that's passed away, whatever. So I set up my composition, kind of eyeball everything, and then start sketching it out with paint on my canvas. And then from there, you know, do it with a lot of shapes, and then adding in color, and then finally the last thing would be throwing the people in. And
so the people are, not being a painter myself yet, I would think you'd put the people in first. I would have started with the people.
You know, actually, you can do it any which way, really. You could do the people first, really, but it's a different process for different painters, so, yeah.
What is the highest number of people that you've had in one painting?
Well, that painting right over there.
Yeah,
I
I've
think
seen
there's
this one.
21 people
Oh my
in there.
gosh!
Yeah.
And the expressions on everyone's face It's so, every face is different, and they're all, I mean, they're all joyous. How long did this take?
Well, a painting like that was done after the event.
Okay.
And that's called what I refer to as a wedding collage painting.
Okay.
And so I actually started with 15 people, and my client wanted me to add 7 more people.
Oh my gosh.
And so I had already had my composition laid out with my paintbrush, and so I had to figure out where do I put them. So yeah, that painting took about, I'm going to say probably a solid 16 hours.
Wow. Yeah. And you talked about when you're doing it live at the event, 5 to 7 hours. Isn't that exhausting for you?
No, I'm fed. I'm energized by the music, by the happy occasion. People are there to have fun. People come up and talk to me. I love that.
I was going to ask you, what's the reaction of people at the wedding?
Oh, they're amazed.
What do? Do they come up and talk to you about it? And
yes, they want to talk about their art. They want to talk about what I'm doing. They want to talk about the couple. It actually is a really entertaining element to have at an event because people are so charmed by it.
Does he ever give you suggestions, and do you take those suggestions?
You know, I haven't had that happen, but I'm open. I'm open. It might be something I hadn't thought of. Yeah. So.
And you mentioned weddings, but I know you said birthday parties.
Yeah.
You've done all kinds of different events.
I can do all of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are they each, I bet, have their own unique flavor to them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
Well, I know that you have just, you kind of are working on this one, and we're going to get back to that. We've got a little break coming up. You've got these things around you. But I can't wait to hear more about exactly how you create these, because you seem to just think that it's no big deal, but I have a feeling for the people watching, they want to know a little bit more about where that comes from.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds
Wonderful.
good.
Sounds great. Unfortunately, I can't believe it's time for break already. We're going to come right back. You're going to hear more about Deb's journey in art, as well as see some of her previous artwork. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Ready? Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arts-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch!
Van Gogurt, thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
I present to you Algebra 2, Foreign Languages, and finally, Biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me.
Yeah, I'll do it. Me too. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
So my uncle calls and he says he's dizzy and he's losing his balance. I'm like, Unc, you want me to take you to a doctor? He's like, no, I'm gonna look up the symptoms. I said, your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance. So he said, I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb. I said, well, use your good arm and dial 911.
Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson. Again, we're here with Deb Fernandez, who's currently creating a painting for us. And we're going to learn a little bit more about where she is with her art today, as well as the art she brought with her. And I want to talk so much about this one painting. It's on our left over there. Can you tell me the story behind it? Because it's beautiful. And I heard you say you did it during the event. So that's very intriguing to me. Tell us more.
Well, that's the very first live event wedding painting I did. So yeah, it's really special. And the woman that commissioned me was the mother of the bride.
Okay.
And she wanted me to go and take pictures at the chapel, which I did. So I took all sorts of pictures, and then I took all of my stuff over to the reception, which was in an art gallery.
Wow.
In Grand Rapids, and I set up my area just like you see here, and I painted from pictures and from my iPad.
Oh my gosh. When you look at that painting, I still can't, how many hours did you say?
Oh, this one took about 7 hours. Yeah.
There's just the bricks, there's a lot of detail in there. The stained glass window is beautiful, and I love that about it. It's so eye-catching.
I love painting stained glass.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah,
Why?
I love all the colors in it.
Oh, the way they flow?
And just giving the semblance of light coming through, and
yeah,
this shining, and yeah.
What was the reaction of the couple to that piece?
Oh, they loved
and what did Mom think?
Oh, she loved it too.
Okay.
Yes, very happy.
If you paint one creation, do you find that people say, oh, I want one of those too, can you do another one?
Oh, all sorts of people will come up and get my business card and ask me, can you do this? Can you do that? Yeah.
And do they ask you to do duplicates? Like if I was the mother of the bride and you painted that, I'd say, well, I want one too. And I want one for the kids and I want one for them. And, do you create more than one of each one?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I could. It would be an extra added cost, because it'd be time and materials after the fact, but I love painting, so I would be open to whatever.
And it sounds like your process, you said you use your iPad too. How?
Take pictures with the iPad, and then I have my little holder thing, which I don't have here, but and attach it to that and just paint from that, or paint from memory, or just as I'm looking and painting and
is this
observing.
Is this what your typical setup would be at an event like?
Definitely, yeah, not much space at all. Okay. Yeah, and this easel, I carry it around wherever I go when I'm doing painting. I love it. It's very light, and
you just never know when you might see something that you might want to paint.
Exactly.
And how do you get inspiration for your painting? Where does that come from?
It comes from actually everything I'm looking at. I paint in my head a lot.
Okay.
There'll be a lot of times where I'm looking around and I'll see maybe a tree and a fence and want to immediately paint that composition and then add something else. And I don't even actually have to have my paints with me, but in my head, I'm kind of figuring out the colors that I'm going to use and what I'm going to mix and where I'm going to put what colors, where the light source is coming in, where the shadows are, interesting shapes that I see. Yeah.
I was going to ask, when you're going through and approaching it, is it the color that comes first? It sounds like it depends on what you're looking at.
Definitely. Okay. Sometimes it speaks to me in shapes, so that would come first. So geometry, which I don't like math, but other times it's the color that speaks to me, and it's like, I've got to find that color. I've got to mix that color on my palette. I've got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll see interesting faces. I love drawing also, and I love drawing if I see an interesting face with the wrinkles and the weathered, wisdom looking, somebody that's been around for a long time.
Yes.
I was like, I've got to draw that.
So it sounds like you find inspiration everywhere.
Everywhere.
What is there a one painting or one work that you've done, maybe a drawing or painting, that just is your favorite? Do you have one?
I would say this is kind of cheesy, but I actually love every painting I do. When I'm done with it, if the person didn't want it, I would keep it because I love it. I love it so much. But I would say my first painting I ever did, an oil painting in high school, was my favorite and is going to be with me forever. And that was an abstract.
Oh,
just
really?
Shapes and colors. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
As you're looking, and I know you mentioned some of these are practice ones that you've done and that you practice. That was interesting to me too, because I thought, oh, she's an artist. She just knows exactly what to do. Talk about this idea of having practice paintings.
I love the idea of the collaging the different elements together, collaging different people in a different mountain scene, you know, or taking a couple and putting them on the beach, like that one over there.
Oh, yeah.
Adding a dog, adding different elements that a person wants in their painting. So yeah, I like doing that.
What is an unusual thing that someone has asked you to put in a painting?
Well, not so unusual. I feel very blessed to be able to do it and very humbled, but somebody who has passed,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a family member that has passed on. Yeah.
And do they share a picture? Do you talk with them about the person? Like how do you figure out, you know, how to portray them?
Well, depending on the picture, they'll provide me with a picture.
Okay.
And then it's up to me when I get to the venue to figure out where I'm going to put them.
Okay.
You know, the best placement. Yeah, and it works out.
How much artistic license do you have with the paintings? Because, you know, do you really follow exactly what they're saying, or do you know, dabble in the, do you color outside the lines, Deb? That's what I really want to know.
Yes, I do. Definitely I do. I try, you know, I'll give the couple what they want, but also I'm the expert in the situation, so there's decisions that have to be made that I'm sure usually works out very pleasing to the person commissioning the piece. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
And, oh, so many more questions I have. We have to take another break, but don't move, because we'll be right back and we'll talk a little bit more with Deb Fernandez about what she's painting. Stay tuned.
Learning how to kickflip 6 stairs takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Do you like this top? It's so gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson. We're here in the studio with Deb Fernandez, and she's going to do a big reveal of artwork that she's been working on, furiously painting during commercial breaks, right, Deb?
Yeah.
So, Deb, you obviously love what you do. What inspired you to spend so much time painting?
I grew up in a family of 7, and my mom was an amazing woman. She was always painting. She painted murals on our walls because she couldn't afford canvas. So, I mean, I grew up with the landscapes right on the dining room wall.
Oh, I would have loved
or
that.
Or the hallway wall, or in our bedrooms. Circus, you know, scenes with
cool.
elephants and all of that. So she did music also. So she was very creative, and she's been the biggest influence in my life. Yeah, yeah.
And I can imagine, where did she get these landscapes from? Did they come from her imagination? Were they things that you'd seen as a child?
I think back then she probably put things together from magazines and from her own memory. And yeah, because I don't remember her holding on to anything like a piece of paper or a magazine, but she must have gotten it somewhere. When I was growing up, I remember this in our dining room, just a huge mural of, it was a sawmill with the water wheel.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the lake and the mountain scene in the background. It was just beautiful. I would give anything to have that. But, you know, it's a wall in a house somewhere, and probably somebody's painted over.
Oh, that has to
Which
hurt,
would be
for
horrible.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what did that do for you? Seeing that every day, did you just take it for granted as a child and say, oh, this is what our house is like?
I think when I was young, I took it for granted. But then as I got older, I came to realize how special that was. You know, not everybody's mom was painting on the walls.
Oh no, my mom would have been quite unhappy if we had painted on the walls in the house. I was going to say that probably had been very freeing.
Yes, it was. It was.
Oh,
it was
wonderful.
Neat seeing that.
And did she know that you've done all these artistic pieces? Was she able to see that in her lifetime? That she inspired this passion for you?
Well, she was up until, you know, my young adulthood. Yeah. She was able to see that because she saw me carry a sketchbook everywhere I went, and all the wanting to go to art camp and bugging parents about that. Yeah.
All the fun things, right?
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
So where can people find you? If they are like, Deb, this is pretty awesome. I want to see if you can come to, and again, you've done birthday parties, weddings. What other kind of events can you do, or would you be able to do?
Oh, well, I did the Cesar Chavez Festival in Lansing. That was really fun. And on that one too, I took different elements from, the stage was over here, and then I added a wall that had a mural on it, but I took and put Cesar Chavez's face on the wall instead of the mural that was on there, and that was a really fun event. Lots of music and balloons and people, and so that was interesting.
So we can find you. You have a website, I understand.
My website is DeborahFernandezArt.com, and I'm also on TikTok. I call it Tickles. I'm on Tickles. I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram.
And I feel like we're seeing live art more and more. I know in my local town in Farmington, at the, they have like an art in the park, type event in the summer, and you'll see people painting live there. And I've been to the Plymouth Art Fair, and of course the Ann Arbor Art Fair, and you're seeing people, doing this. Do you feel like live painting is getting a resurgence, or do you feel like it's just always been there and I'm just becoming aware of it?
I think it's getting a resurgence.
Okay.
I'm so excited that people are falling in love with this this type of art making. I'm gonna do anything I can to promote it, because I just think it's so special, and people are so enamored with it. Whenever they see you, they're so curious, and it just brings up all stories that they want to tell you, and they're so curious about the art you're doing. So yeah, I do believe it's getting very popular with couples that are getting married, and with people having anniversaries and birthday parties. It's different from taking a photograph, and that's special too, but in my mind, this is really special.
When you look to the future of the work of Deb Fernandez, what do you see?
Oh, I see me with gray hair and maybe sitting in a chair, but painting all the special events that people want me to. Yeah, I'm going to be around for a while doing this. Yeah.
Is there anything frustrating when you're painting? I just imagine, making a mistake and saying, oh, I've worked all this way. What do you do when something like that happens?
It can be fixed.
Oh,
They can, yeah.
This is good.
Yeah. All you need to do is you can take your brush and then, or a clean brush, and then put some water onto it and then kind of erase the paint that way. You can paint over a spot in white and then restart that part of the painting. Yeah, it's no worries at all. Painting is freeing, it's fun, and there's no angst about it. It's so fun.
For
so
you,
fun. Yeah.
this is your experience. And what do you think about when you're painting?
I'm so in tune with what I'm painting. I'm actually not thinking about much. It's almost like an exercise in just mindlessness, really, because I'm just thinking about what's in front of me, and I'm thinking about colors, and I'm thinking about shapes. And it's just a really nice release from, you know, everyday details and drama and jobs. Yeah.
Well, Deb, you're inspiring me to want to pick some paints up and a paintbrush. And so thank you for doing that. I'm sure that the people who have been watching are also feeling that way as well.
Well,
thank you for joining us today and sharing your beautiful works with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And unfortunately, we've run out of time, but we're so appreciative of Deb for sharing her talents with us and doing these beautiful works and this beautiful painting right here in our studio. Thank you and all of our viewers there, and we just love that you're joining us to celebrate all the great things that happen in the Mitten State. We'll see you next time.